Do you think you're worthy of a 5-star review in life? Or more of a 3-star with room for improvement? What do you believe makes someone truly worthy? Achievements, character, or something else entirely? Here are a few short stories inspired by Zhuangzi's philosophical ideas about finding worth through different perspectives. The useless tree. Once Zhuangzi passed by a large, twisted tree with branches so crooked that no carpenter would want to use its wood. Zhuangzi's student asked, "Why does this tree stand here, useless, unfit for any purpose?" Zhuangzi replied, "Because it is useless, it stands unharmed. If it were useful, it would have been cut down long ago for wood." The story teaches that sometimes being useless can be a form of freedom. The tree is left undisturbed because of its apparent lack of value, allowing it to live freely and to grow. In this sense, worth does not always have to be defined by how much we can produce or achieve. Being true to oneself and free from the need to conform can be more valuable than adhering to conventional definitions of usefulness. The broken cup. A man had a beautiful cup, finely crafted and worth a great deal. However, one day it broke. The man was devastated by the loss of something so valuable. An old friend came to visit and saw the broken cup. He asked, "Why do you mourn what is broken when it has already served its purpose?" The man replied, "But it was worth so much when it was whole." The friend responded, "It was worth its price when it was whole, but now it has still served its purpose by teaching you the value of impermanence." This story suggests that worth is not static. Things, people, and experiences can have value in different ways at different times. Even brokenness or imperfection can carry meaning, and in embracing change and loss, we find a deeper understanding of value that goes beyond surface appearances. The goldsmith's hammer. A goldsmith worked diligently on shaping a golden statue for the emperor. One day he noticed that the hammer he used every day was beginning to wear down. He had spent years using it to create fine pieces, but now the handle was cracked and the head was dented. His apprentice asked, "Master, should we replace this hammer? It no longer seems useful." The goldsmith replied, "No, this hammer has created all the beautiful pieces we've made. Its worth is not in its perfection, but in what it has accomplished." This story illustrates the idea that worth is not only about appearances or perfection. The hammer, though worn and imperfect, has served a valuable purpose over time. Similarly, people and things that seem imperfect often have intrinsic value through their actions or the outcomes they help bring about. The empty pot. A king wanted to find a successor and decided to test the people of his kingdom. He gave each person a seed and told them to grow the most beautiful plant they could. After a few months, the people returned with flowers, trees, and fruits. But one young man returned with an empty pot. He explained, "I tried to grow the seed, but it did not sprout. I have returned with only this empty pot." The king smiled and declared, "You are the one who will be my successor. I gave you all boiled seeds that could not grow. You were honest, and your worth lies in your truthfulness." This story shows that worth can be found in honesty and integrity rather than in outward success. The young man's willingness to present his empty pot, rather than a fabricated success, reveals his true character. Sometimes worth lies in our willingness to be authentic, even in the face of failure. The pebble in the river. A traveler came upon a river and saw a smooth pebble resting at the bottom. He picked it up, admiring its smoothness and beauty. The traveler wondered, "How did this pebble become so perfect?" The river answered, "I have worn it down with my currents for many years. It has been shaped by the flow of time." The traveler asked, "Does it mind being shaped like this?" The river responded, "No. It has found its worth in being what it is, shaped by the flow of life." This story suggests that worth is often a result of the experiences and processes we go through. Just like the pebble, which has been shaped by the river's current, people find their value through their journey, not necessarily by trying to remain unchanged. Life's challenges often contribute to our growth and worth. The wise old ox. A young ox asked an old ox, "Why do you never rush? We are always in a hurry, working for our masters." The old ox replied, "When you rush, you wear yourself out. I have learned to walk at my own pace. My value is not in how quickly I get to the task, but in how steady and strong I am in my work." This story highlights the idea that worth does not always lie in speed or efficiency. The old ox teaches the importance of patience and steadiness. By moving at a steady pace, the ox demonstrates that lasting value often comes from consistency and endurance, not the haste of trying to accomplish everything quickly. The silent song. A poet sat silently in a quiet room, watching the rain fall outside. After a long time, someone asked, "Why don't you write a poem?" "It's a perfect scene for inspiration," the poet replied. "The rain is speaking its own poem. I do not need to add words to it." Sometimes silence speaks more deeply than any verse. This story speaks to the idea that worth can also lie in the unspoken and unseen. Silence and stillness have value in their own right. The poet understands that not everything needs to be defined or expressed, and sometimes the absence of action or words carries its own profound meaning. The clay pot. A potter was making clay pots for the market when his young apprentice asked, "How do you know which pots are worth selling?" The potter smiled and replied, "I don't judge their worth by their shape or size. Each pot has its own unique character. Some will be bought for their beauty, others for their utility, but all of them serve a purpose." This story conveys that worth is subjective. It can be found in different forms. Some things are valued for their appearance, while others are valued for their function. Worth is not universally defined. It can vary based on perspective, context, and purpose. The bamboo grove. A traveler walked through a bamboo forest and admired the towering bamboo stalks. He remarked, "These bamboo trees are beautiful, but their trunks are not solid like an oak's." An elder man, passing by, answered, "The bamboo may not be solid, but its hollow nature allows it to bend with the wind. It has learned to adapt, to sway and bend without breaking. In this way, it endures." The bamboo in this story symbolizes flexibility and adaptability. Sometimes worth is not about being rigid and unyielding, but about being adaptable and resilient in the face of change. The bamboo survives by bending, showing that strength often lies in the ability to adjust and survive difficult circumstances. The lost coin. A woman dropped a coin on the ground and searched frantically for it. Her friend asked, "Why do you look for it so desperately? It is just a coin." The woman replied, "It is not the coin that matters, but the value I place on it. Even the smallest things hold worth if we care about them." This story reflects the idea that worth is not always tied to intrinsic value, but to how much we value something. What is important is how we perceive and cherish things, even small or seemingly insignificant ones. After hearing these stories, what conclusions have you come to about worthiness? Do you think true worth is found in what we achieve, or in embracing the natural flow of life? Thank you for watching.